from each other.
What's incredible is that people still think... We were talking about this only, what was it, last week? That people still think that when the cameras are off, then they're all out and they give them coffee and they get bacon sarnies and...
You don't lose. I lost 19 pounds, I think, in about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And...
God, you must have disappeared.
I tried to eat up before I went in. No, but I mean, it is everything about it.
This is you at your best here.
Wow. Just when I'd forgotten that image.
I've only just stopped screaming in the night.
There's quite the lineup, actually. There are some brilliant characters. I mean, it is fantastic. You've got Boy George, Sue Cleaver, Scarlett Douglas, Mike Tyndall being, of course, the first royal to go in there. Charlene White, our very own Chris Moyles is going to be amazing. Apparently, he has the most unbelievable fear of heights, which is why he's always said no.
Chris Moyles does?
Yes.
Good.
So you know exactly what's going to happen. Olivia Attwood, what do we think?
I think it's... I have to say, as soon as Boy George was signed up, I thought, well, that's this series sorted, because he's really quick-witted. I can't imagine the Boy George who lives in this massive palace in Hampstead. I can't imagine him for 1 minute enjoying living in a sort of bivvy bag in the bush.
He says it's going to be a breeze compared to going on a world tour.
Oh, no.
I think you may be in for a surprise.
You know, my favourite moments are when the boys scream. I love boys screaming. It's fantastic because they're all a big butch and they all come striding in. Well, you in your bikini, but la 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 la.
Well, let's have a look at what they can expect as they go in.
I'm a musician. I'm a singer. I'm bored of sitting in the corner being iconic.
Why am I going in the jungle is a really good question because I have no idea.
Yes, I did prepare. I ordered a treadmill in 2 months ago and I've been on it once.
I have a lot of fears I need to conquer. I'll be honest. I'm scared of everything.
Yeah, trials-wise, I would expect to be heavily put forward by the rugby community. I'm pretty sure I'll attempt everything. Whether it stays down or not, who knows?
I mean, that says it all there, was it? I mean, what a line from Boy George. I'm tired of sitting in the corner being iconic. I mean, come on, more of that, please.
Good line about facing fears as well, because one of the processes is I arrived and I was terrified. I was so terrified of my fears that I've been having treatment before I went in, CB, whatever it was, to try and get ahead of it. And the first day...
What were your fears?
Spiders number one, heights, being
you could have come on Dancing on Ice. It would have been much easier.
But I was neurotic with fear, and the first day in the jungle was just a headspin of awfulness. But once you'd done it, you thought, OK, and the nerves started settling down. And I think that as the process goes on, if you are a fearful person, you're either going to be out or you will get on top of it. And it's had a lasting effect for me.
And yes, it does, doesn't it? And I think because there are a lot of other people, and I thought I'd be clever, right, and tell them what I wasn't frightened of. I like doing the double bluff. Didn't work.
Didn't work.
Terrified of chocolate, me.
But the eating trials are still funny, aren't they? I mean, they are just funny.
Yes.
The whole thing is just hilarious for us watching at home.
It's
about to start.
Wait.
And if you are a massive fan, there's all sorts of exclusive material on. So it's Instagram, Twitter, all on the I'm a Celeb socials. So keep an eye on that for exclusive content. Right. So let's come a little further back to reality and closer to home. Suella Braverman has admitted to sending government documents to her personal email address 6 times during her first stint as Home Secretary. This is on top of the security breach that led to her resignation. This is a two-pronged thing, really. I think she was talking about this yesterday. So let's talk about the security breach. She is Home Secretary. She should have the sort of safety of the nation calmly in her hands.
It's extraordinary. It's almost like they need lessons in how to be politicians. It's like primary school stuff, this. You know, anybody in the military will tell you as such. And the problem is, for our global reputation in terms of, services and espionage and all of that kind of thing, how much... The Home Secretary has access to everything. So what are other countries thinking about the information that they can give us? Are they going to restrict the information that they can give us?
What are other countries doing with information when we've got reports that Liz Truss when she was Foreign Secretary, so many jobs, so little time, but when she was Foreign Secretary, that her phone was being hacked by Putin for, I think, over a year.
Now,
loads of messages.
Would
So this is why
would we say that was her fault, or would we say that was the fault of the security on her phone, which should have been better?
But you shouldn't, as soon as you go outside of government protocols into private emails, you are assuring all the protections that come from the state. So it's an extremely risky thing to do. And the fact that she's done it 6 times with emails going to the wrong people. I mean,
well, it wasn't just that yesterday as well, because she also divided the Conservative Party once again on her use of terminology. And she was saying that the public needs to know which party is serious about stopping the invasion of migrants on the southern coast of the UK. So this is the thing. This is very inflammatory language, isn't it?
Yes, it is inflammatory. The whole thing is inflammatory around asylum seekers and refugees, and it's been deliberately so, I would say, in order for all of the Brexit thing to happen and for Boris to get his landslide election and so on. And it's all of this hatred speech, which is this inciting people to jump one way or another instead of debating and feeling about this. And I'm not a party political animal. Many people think I am. I am absolutely not. But what I am really worried about is this is the tip of the iceberg. And you have Greta Thunberg on later. And one of my dear friends who died about 5 years ago was NASA's head of Earth science. And he said to me that their computational analysis said that by 2040, unless something massive is changed, that there will be an unending drought beginning across the Middle East and parts of Africa, and we will have migration on a scale never before seen in humanity. And if that is right, which I would imagine, sadly, may well be correct, then this is nothing compared to what's happening, and this has to have a global approach, I'm afraid.
Vorderman stood accused yesterday of not allowing migrants to move from the Manston very short-term centre into hotels. And my LBC colleague, Charlotte Lynch, today is reporting a Home Office source saying that she did sign off hotels, but only in Labour constituencies. She refused to allow migrants to move into hotels in Tory constituencies. Now, if this claim is true, then I would say Suella Braverman's position becomes even more difficult when you've got the likes of Sir Roger Gale, a Tory MP, saying yesterday on the record that he thought it is possible this migrant backlog at Manston has been deliberately engineered for political purposes.
So is that so that it can look... It can look appalling. It is appalling. So don't think if you're going to cross the channel and risk your life again that it's going to be.
That is what Suella Braverman would argue. Is that, you know, if you can see how bad the situation is here, why would you want to come? But if that's the approach they're taking, then I would argue that it's very misguided, because the number of migrants trying to crossing the channel is going up, and it's been going up almost in direct proportion to the right-wing approach of trying to clamp down on it. It's just not working. I don't understand why you just don't build a processing centre in France instead of wasting money on hotels, pick the lorry drivers, care workers, hospital workers and doctors that want to come here and put them to work in the positions. There are hundreds of thousands of jobs that are going on. I think instead of spending millions, billions of pounds potentially of taxpayers' money on this nonsense that isn't working. I mean, when are we going to get real about it? Really?
It's just not working.
I mean, to call it an invasion from someone who is of South Asian heritage, whose parents themselves came as migrants. I mean, I find it despicable. The day after somebody firebombs a migrant.
I know. I mean, this sort of instability, this crisis, it's just one thing after another. It's no surprise that HarperCollins have decided that permacrisis is the word that sums up 2022. I mean, it is laughable, but it's really sad. Like, this is the lifetime that we're living in. This is I've brought children into this permacrisis. Like, it's a horrible thought, isn't it?
Yes, and heat bank is one of the other words that goes in, which are warm bank. You know, where people are now going to areas which are heated because they can't afford to heat their own homes. Although I see the Daily Star today, cracking front page, pointing out that MPs' offices can run at up to 30 degrees centigrade on us.
Or is that because of all the hot air?
Probably. Very good.
Let's use another word here, and that's vibe change. So vibe change, it insinuates a big shift in mood, and that's what we're going to do now. This is the Britain's funniest sitcom moments, and it's Del Boy who wins.
Should we just watch it? Well, let's watch it. Here you are.
I think we're on a winner here, Tree. All right? Play it nice and cool, son. Nice and cool, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's lovely, isn't it?
It's genius.
It's lovely. I remember when he came in, he was teaching you how to do it, and he said the trick was to stay totally rigid.
Absolutely
Not
rigid.
to bend at all.
Yeah,
You had to
and
be
it's
really
so
brave.
hard to do.
So hard not to, like, put your hand
my
up.
foot just moved
Yeah,
right at the very
right,
end. You
last
went,
minute.
it's brilliant, but your foot just moved because there's something about you that says, don't do this.
Definitely. Protect you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Bless
both.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks
Lovely
again
to
for
have you.
yesterday. Great fun.
Oh, it was
Great fun. Thank you both.
Loved it.
Amazing.
Yeah, Voldemort. Right after the break. I'm never going to get over that. You were incredible.
Neither am I.
Honestly. After the break, Martin Lewis takes your calls. We'll be back with that right after this.